She retreated. She messaged, no more. There has been a change in her. Her once warm demeanor now conveys coldness, and her responses are eerily silent. And here you are, perplexed, mindlessly browsing through everything. The battlegrounds of your thoughts are the questions. What went wrongs? And what should I do now? Repairing it is enticing to you. Getting in touch. So, to clarify, performing an action, anything at all. If I were to tell you, though, that her quiet is more than simply her lack of speech, this is an invitation to you. Not to pursue her, but to get back to who you are. Instead of trying to bridge the distance between you, focus on bridging the gap within yourself. Why? Because right now, when she stops communicating, when she stops interacting, this isn't simply a love issue. We need to wake up to this. How about we discuss the time she chose to disregard you, along with the precise type of man you should want to be in the future? Chapter 1. Silence speaks volumes. Silence and fear are the sounds that most men perceive. I have to do something to make her talk to me again. I need to fix this. I must have done something wrong. Their apologies are in order. Around 1 in the morning, they send lengthy SMS. The silence is broken by their cacophony. But here's what males don't learn, and what they don't comprehend. Patience is not a luxury. Stillness communicates. Moreover, guys who are able to sit quietly and listen comprehend women better than any others. A lady is not being moody when she withdraws and stops chatting. Don't call her confused. She is expressing herself. I've tried, she says. That was me. Even when my tone, body language, and emotions changed, you still didn't pick up on what I was trying to say. Her speech has come to an end. She now allows her quiet to convey her thoughts. And brother, I want you to understand that quiet, it speaks louder than any debate, surpassing the sound of a slammed door and a heartfelt confession. The ultimate truth resides in stillness. Nothing makes a woman go quiet. At the emotional level, they separate first. And it's never arbitrary when a woman's heart starts to recede. She doesn't require personal space. What she really wants is to be noticed, but she hasn't been. Women don't withdraw because they are speechless, because they've stated it 100 times before. In non-verbal ways, they're now pulling back. Their hints are subtle. Their firmness decreases. They are holding out hope. Then, when they see no progress, they stop speaking. Not to hurt you, but to defend themselves. However, the majority of men fail to notice. You shouldn't plead at this moment. Do not bombard her email at this moment. Asking her what's wrong isn't even appropriate at this moment. The moment has come to simply sit in stillness. Get a sense of what that stillness is trying to tell you. Something was overlooked, that she was lacking in some way, whether it be love, attention, respect, or constancy. Plus, she is no longer present either. The irony. When women start talking, most men wait until they stop before they listen. Until the love dies out, most guys don't begin to change. The strength of quiet lies in its lack of attention-seeking behavior. It tells it to who wants to go further. She sets her boundaries in the quiet. Her boundary in the sand is stillness. It's more like a reflection than a game. And what you see when you look into that mirror is all the things she attempted to tell you before she gave up. She is now observing the words you used. I don't mean your regrets. Your reaction to her quiet is being observed by her. Will you eventually crumble into anarchy? Are you planning to freak out, cry, plead, and explain everything too much? Alternately, are you going to have the kind of energy that listens without speaking? I must share with you some information on women. There are times when they prefer fewer words. The goal is to raise awareness. When they no longer see a secure space to express their emotions, they withdraw. Thus, let her quiet to remain. Keep it going. There's no need in attempting to save her. Learn from it. Permit it to transform you. Reason being, words do not cease to exist when there is no sound. It marks the start of the truth. That stillness might be the birth of something fresh. If you can get the courage to quit attempting to lift her spirits, and instead, focus on strengthening your own foundation. Someone else who isn't afraid of pain anymore. Because you've come to see that solitude is where change may take place. Chapter 2. Don't chase, elevate. She retreated, and now your gut tells you to do this. Let her know. Make it right. That lengthy message expressing your feelings for her should be sent. But here's the reality that most guys would rather not acknowledge. They want to run after it. Love isn't behind it. It stems from a place of dread, apprehension over parting ways with her, anxiety when I'm by myself, concern that one is inadequate. However, I have a serious question for you. Could it be that her worst fears about you are confirmed by the pursuit itself? Pursuing does not equate to power. I'm in a state of terror, you know? The majority of males enter an emotional state of survival when a woman withdraws. They shower her with love. Apologies are offered for things that they haven't fully grasped yet. Their communication, thinking, and workload are all excessive. Just to clarify. But I was desperate. Repairing the relationship is not their goal. Attempting to avoid the awkwardness of rejection is their goal. On the other hand, you must fully grasp this. Attempting to woo a woman again will not work. Asking her to respect you again will not work. Furthermore, you will not be able to win her heart if you are not firmly planted in yourself. She doesn't feel romantic when she watches you fall apart, just because she stepped back, when your entire sense of self crumbles as a result of her lack of interest. Repulsion grips her. There is no guy in sight. As she looks around, she notices a terrified young man. She is unable to return, regardless of how much she may have wanted to. Reason being, the tone has become more emotionally charged. Your reliance on her for survival has transformed her perception of you. That's not what you want. There's dependence there, and it's not appealing. It's draining. Listen, I'm going to tell you something most guys never hear. You run in terror, and she runs with confidence, at a quicker pace. If a guy has lost touch with his own strength, no woman will want to mother him. Being grounded is something she has no interest in teaching you. Your emotional life jacket isn't something she's interested in being. She wants to experience your company rather than your fear. Let me show you what to do instead. Whenever she retreats, you should not pursue her eyes. You take your time to fill the empty space. You stand up amid the stillness. You channel the effort you are going to use on unnecessary activities like sending 2 texts at once, going into unnecessary detail, and overthinking into developing into the kind of man who attracts whatever he desires just by being himself. Pay more attention now. You look down from your phone. You no longer go over previous discussions again. Your value is no longer determined by how quickly she responds. You come to a halt. Rather than that, you begin constructing you and your physical form, your art form, your company. Rest easy. Back to discipline you go. Vision returns to you. Everything you neglected while you were engrossed in her comes rushing back to haunt you. It all comes full circle because of this paradox. If you want to stop attracting her, you have to stop chasing everything. Life itself, not only her. Due regard. Please pay close attention. Unsolved question. Energy. Proper placement. While everyone else fumbles for approval. Everything comes tumbling down on the man who remains calm and centered. Retaliation is not the point here. This has nothing to do with acting indifferent. Detachment isn't the goal here to make her miss you. You don't need the approval of another person to feel worthy of love. This is about getting back to that person. Because, come on, she was never supposed to be the center of your universe. Purpose is intended to be at the center of your being. Have you noticed that she's dead quiet? Then that's great. Just let the peace and quiet make you remember all the things you cut back on for yourself. Embark on your journey across the emptiness. Allow the pain to become motivation. Now for the shocking part. It would be unsettling for her to return and encounter the same man she left behind. In his loft, she ought to see an unfamiliar figure. He flourished while she was away, who shone brightly in the stillness of her presence, who rose without requiring her applause. Due to the fact that you in that form, he makes no demands. He refuses to pursue. He opts. No, he has no intention of getting her back. Too preoccupied with constructing something she may never be asked to again, for her to notice. What about that type of guy? Attracting ladies isn't his only strength. He commands admiration. When your priorities change from "I need her to come back" to I need to never lose myself again. That's when you know you've entered the real world. Therefore, refrain from reaching for the phone the next time. When you write a paragraph with the intention of improving the vibe, don't save it. When you sense the want to run away, keep in mind, if you keep going after people who aren't interested in you, you'll never catch up to the guy God created you to be. No need to pursue. You rise. Concerning that one choice, it has a profound impact. Chapter 3. Reclaim your masculine energy. She withdrew a little. She transformed. Her smile transformed into a cold calculation. Stone feels more like her softness now. So where do you stand? You can't break the cycle of wondering why, pleading for a sign, or hope that she's not the same lady you fell for. Unbeknownst to everyone, though, is this. At this precise time, amid this maelstrom that you are stuck in, that's not punishment. It's a request. A call to return to your core. You are strong, in honor of your manhood, for the simple reason that, let's be honest, most guys don't end up unfaithful. Their lack of emotion is not the reason they lose them. They lost them when they grew too pliable, passive, stupid at heart, unstable emotionally. Their wits went with them. Their lucidity, what they should do. Even the woman's bones could feel it. See, feminine energy isn't only seeking love. When it's with you, it wants to feel secure. It is eager to put its faith in your guidance. In its ideal world, it would be held by a man who can weather emotional storms with grace and dignity. However, at some point, you failed to remember that. You began directing your self-assurance towards her. To feel manly, you started depending on her presence. And now that she's gone, you're confused. However, right now, is this stillness deliberate? This change in momentum? This is your opportunity to return to your true self. Returning to a more macho state isn't about winning her back. It has nothing to do with power. It has nothing to do with dominance. The focus is on recalling your true self prior to her enthusiastic applause is key. It boils down to this. Without the cheers, what am I? Who am I? Without validation from others, who am I? When I cease putting on a show for the sake of approval and begin to construct in solitude, who am I? Manhood is that. Quiet, please. Absent response. Rather than emotional whirlwinds masquerading as fragility. Presence is masculinity. Manhood is a sense of purpose. To be masculine is to find calmness among turbulence. A guy who is secure in his manly energy doesn't lose it if she goes through a change. He should not harass her on social media, send 7 SMS, or write midnight paragraphs. He relaxes, takes a few deep breaths, and then asks, "What am I learning about myself from this very moment?" Her retreat serves as a reflection, and he is aware of this. Furthermore, it mirrors the fissures in his own self-construct. Maybe there's some contradiction. It might be a case of emotional neediness. Perhaps it's due to your ineffective leadership. Perhaps it's the lack of action that you mistook for generosity, but which she mistook for weakness. Whatever it is, her silence is a display, not a punishment, of her feelings toward you, but to rouse you from your slumber. Now we get to the true test. Does self-hatred prevent you from sitting with that truth? Will you be able to admit fault without giving in to feelings of humiliation? See yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, "I threw in the towel. However, I will be reclaiming it." Because being tough has nothing to do with recovering your manly energy. Being emotionally detached is not the point. The key is to take the lead even while you're in pain. What matters is that you feel intensely, but you also act consciously. The key is to respond logically, not in a state of panic. It's about maturing into a man who demands so much from himself. It's never necessary for him to persuade someone to remain. They can choose to stand with him or turn away from the road he won't budge from. Take a look around. Just think about how many males you know who crumble the second their partner pulls away. With only one long-distance communication, their relationship takes a nosedive. They start to doubt who they are after only one unread reply. That is not affection. Dependence on one's emotions is that is the masculine form of a boy's energy. When he's acting manly, a man doesn't require her approval. He is so peace, he won't ask for it. Protected by him. "I don't chase love," he says. He sets the bar high. When it occurs, a miraculous event takes place. His reaction time decreases and begins to exude an irresistible charm. He remains silent, yet his dominance is contagious. He exudes value rather than proving it. How about the lady? It hits her hard. The change is there, whether she acknowledges it or not. Because power from a man doesn't have to persuade. Chasing is unnecessary. The fact remains. Consider this chapter as a foundational training session. Not to get her back, but to win yourself back. Sit quietly and let it refine you. Permit the anguish to humble you. Allow the defeat to refocus you. Recall the sensation of walking with self-assurance. Your speech was full with conviction. When being seen was not a prerequisite for knowing where you were going, there is still that dude. The din is drowning him out. With all the contemplation, under the guise of pleasing others. Get him out of his slumber now. Get back to being a man. I don't want to prove anything. Not to give her a lesson. To be the man who stands firm in the face of feminine detachment, yet, as he is already well grounded in his authentic self. Great, let's maintain this high level of enthusiasm. When it comes to this next phase, a lot of guys get desperate or too sensitive. Not you though. Evolve and rise. That is your purpose here. Chapter 4. Mirror her energy, but lead with dignity. I'm sure you've heard it all. Here, just reflect her vibe, dude. It may seem easy. Does she retreat? Your body relaxes. Will she resume calling? No more calls from you. Does she get chilly? You get icy. The point of mirroring, though, is not to mimic her petty behavior. It's not about tinkering. No one is playing for the win. It all comes down to harmony. Dignity is at stake. You must understand that your energy is priceless, and that when someone begins to use it as a commodity, you must cease to give it freely. You see, when women start to seem aloof, most guys do one of two things wrong. 1. With increased messaging, over-explanation, and pleading for answers, they intensify their pursuit. 2. They resort to passive-aggressive behavior, isolating themselves in the hopes that she would notice and regret their silence. However, the origin of both of those actions is identical: feeling uneasy. Courageous men don't seek approval from others. Anyone who chooses not to share it is not resented by it. It takes in its environment, makes necessary adjustments, and proceeds with grace. So, how can one reflect with grace? The situation seems to be that you've seen her withdrawal and, rather of addressing her about her neediness, you're turning inside and saying, "There has been a change. Somehow, I can sense it. However, I will not ask for something that ought to be freely given." You keep up with the speed, but you're far too immature. You retreat without retaliating. You distance yourself, but you don't vanish so you can control her feelings. Giving her space isn't a game. It's a sign that you prefer clarity over ambiguity. If her intention is to remain genuine, she will come to your aid. What if she declines? If so, you should feel accomplished for surviving the patience that has been plaguing you for months. However, I think we should delve far further. Envision this. Her texting habits begin to decline. The pain is real. You feel the want to double text, reassure her of your love, and check in on her. In its place, though, you inhale deeply. Refocusing on your immediate environment is what you do. As a result, you work out more intensely. A company is built by its owners. Your sense of purpose is reawakened. Reclaiming your vitality, you pick up reading again, this time in quiet. She senses it in the stillness. Desperation is seen by women in the same manner. Also, they feel distant. The crucial point, though, is this. Avoid letting resentment or animosity color your distancing. Reason being that emotional reliance persists in bitterness. It's still up to you to get her attention. Screaming into the void in the hopes that she hears you is still there. The quality of true separation is tranquility, at peace, into the ground. According to it, my heart aches for you. While I love you, I will not let myself be consumed by you. It's a reflection. You should not try to outsmart her. Punishing her is unnecessary. Keeping the mirror steady is all that's required. And believe me, if she looks at her mirror and isn't happy with what she sees, either she will change or she will leave. In either case, you come out on top. Why? Why? because you remained strong. You didn't change into a different person only to maintain her company. Within your frame, you remained. You stuck to what was true. Power is that. Feel the change with her. Not because you want harm, but because you will not grovel for her acceptance. Let her know that you are not there. It's not about ego. I don't see that as manipulation. That is honoring oneself. The Stoic reality is this. Her affection is not yours to claim as your own. You must make an effort to show her your loyalty. She is not entitled to it. A boy is not you. You are a man. When attachment wanes, guys act out in tantrums. Nevertheless, men keep their cool, concentrate, and composure. Let their deeds do the talking. They allow energy to merge. And they are leaders, not in the traditional sense, but with poise and dignity. Keep this in mind. Do not freak out if she withdraws. Lay off the pleading. Stay out of it. Also, try not to harden your heart and harbor resentment. Keep your composure and reflect her enthusiasm. Reason being, in a society where males engage in emotional tug-of-war, the ability to maintain composure under pressure makes a guy memorable. Chapter 5. Silence is strategy, not surrender. Men often equate remaining silent with being weak. They fear they will fall behind if they remain silent, refrain from pursuing, or fail to react. If they don't do something, the bond will end, in their minds. However, a self-aware guy can tell the difference. When you're strong, being silent isn't a retreat. That's the plan. It will not go away. A discriminating eye? Quite the opposite. It is accurate. It's not evasion. It relates to alignment. Reason being, not every change calls for an analysis. Some emotions don't need words to describe them. A fire isn't necessary to warm a chilly breeze. What sets you apart is the initial action you take in response to her distancing, ignoring, or withdrawing. You convey your dependence if you burst in, all agitated and noisy. One way to show insecurity is to strike out in a harsh and cruel manner. Sitting quietly grounded, aware, unfazed communicates presence, though power is communicated via presence. What is masculine silence, and what is it not? Neither is it punishment. You're not going silent in order to teach her a lesson. That's ridiculous. Such is the domain of boys. Silence, when maintained by men, is a border, not a weapon. Neither is manipulation. You're not trying to manipulate someone by withholding affection. When there is no return on investment, you are essentially cutting ties. Pride, isn't it? You aren't being silent because you lack confidence. You've made your stance crystal clear, so there's no need to shout it again. You value your dignity enough to behave respectfully. This is self-control. Plus, control is the key to strength. Feel free to respond. Holds are rare. Clarity, is it? Quietness reveals the sounds that are obstructing your view. When you quit making empty promises, the reality becomes obvious. An act of self-discipline. You control your urges. You safeguard your tranquility. Instead of reacting, you opt to respond. The significance of silence. Being quiet does not imply being uncaring. On occasion, it's because standards are in place. As you withdraw, you are essentially stating, "My words and deeds have been made clear, and I will not ask for what is rightfully mine. The entrance will remain unobstructed if you would like to walk. I will leave it open and go aside. It's not chilly. I understand." Love without standards is the same as abandoning oneself. While receiving attention without being reciprocated leads to addiction. When a guy learns how to listen, he knows. Do not keep someone captive in your presence if they choose to leave your life. Allow the dynamic to emerge naturally, without your intervention. Identifying the limit. Avoidance versus strategy. Fear fuels avoidance, which is silence. Because you're scared to show your emotions, you keep quiet. A strategy is a combination of power and quiet. You remain silent since you have said what is truly important. Averting pain is the goal of avoidance. Painful research on strategies. Postponing the truth is the goal of avoiding it. The approach yields the reality. Any period of quiet before expressing your wants, requirements, or limits is considered premature. Take the lead. Be brief and to the point. Then stop talking and allow your quiet to do the work of solving the problem. Strategic silence, a realistic perspective on the 3 S's. 1. Find a steady place. Support your central nervous system. Took a deep breath. Find your footing. Keep the original draft text for yourself. Avoid making an urgent call. Hold off on looking for a quick fix. Put it on paper. Do not be light in your lifting. Take a lengthy stroll. Say a prayer. Jumel. Stop letting your thoughts run amok by getting inside your body. Find out. How did things shift? What was left out? Notice trends, not isolated events. Is her lack of consistency due to her indifference or her overwhelming feelings? Has she brought up any issues that you choose to ignore? When called upon to lead, have you remained reticent? The reality that her words either failed to reveal or that you chose to ignore will emerge in the stillness. 3. Signal. Whether you choose to text or not, your energy still communicates. Train, work, have a purpose, and make plans. Just keep moving. You reply calmly and clearly if she attempts to contact you. You won't pass out if she doesn't. No matter how many people are applauding, your standard will not change. Strategic silence. Ground rules for interaction. Be brief and to the point. At that point, end it. Express yourself honestly, without acting or pleading, what you desire, what you refuse, and when you are available. Allow your deeds to speak for themselves after that. Inconsistency is never a valid argument. Avoid settling for less than you deserve. Investing with purpose, not vengeance. Just calculated becomes necessary when effort becomes intermittent. Keep your dignity intact and don't double text if your query is clear. Then you should wait for an equally obvious response. Attempting to fill the space with more words demonstrates a lack of confidence in your value. Retain the date. Do not put off living your life because you are uncertain of anything. Your plans should remain unchanged. Go at a steady speed. A man who is mindful of his time might convey his worth without saying a word. Prompt posting only. Don't seem confident when you're actually hurting. Power without performance is meaningless. It seeps in. Establish a personal checkpoint. A week after you've spoken plainly, for example, gives the dynamic a grounded opportunity to breathe and show. You will not pursue clarity that you already possess if nothing changes. What quietness can show you if you permit it? A number of realities become apparent once you cease pursuing. Reliability is key. Does she hunch down when you let go of the reins? Or does she just disappear whenever things aren't going her way? The speaker is the character. Does she use mature language when addressing problems? Or does she use evasive language when punishing? The absence of noise indicates immaturity. Chemistry versus compatibility. No amount of heat can make you healthy. When people are quiet, it reveals if they are eager to build or whether they are only hungry to feel. Listen to your wounds. Need her approval to put an old fear to rest. Does the sound you're requesting her to silence predate her arrival? You can repair the part. That begs by strategically silencing it. If she makes contact while you're not there, take your time responding. Catch up to her in terms of substance as well as speed. Show clarity in your engagement if she offers it. You shouldn't deliver a feast if she gives crumbs. Instead of changing your whole schedule just to show that you're available, pick a time to chat when she asks. React gracefully if she offers an apology. And make sure your standards are clear in what you do next. I kept quiet, not to punish her. The purpose was to safeguard your strength and cleanse the bond. Be present when the energy returns in a pure form. Pretend you can see the road if it becomes overcast again. If she refuses to communicate. So that's a response as well. I mean, a very noisy one. Even if she didn't give it to you. Your silence now serves as closure according to your standard. When you're leaving, you don't say so. Your healing is not something you do, reclaiming your path is all it takes. Moving on is not a way to make a point. Nothing good can survive if you give up on yourself, and you're just being honest by acknowledging this. How and why quiet works, no matter how bad it gets. Reason being, patterns can only be exposed in contexts devoid of sound. The tale is told by conduct once the noise stops. Is it time or excuses that she finds? How does she explain things by leaving you in the dark? Is her goal to meet you or to gauge you? You develop by seeing. You mature into a man whose emotions aren't going anywhere. A man who remains calm no matter what. A guy whose standards control what his words could never convey because of the prevalence of instant messaging and knee-jerk reactions in today's society. A solid guy is in high demand. Strategic silence, a resolute stand. You let your feelings be known. You transform it into self-control. You acknowledge the existence of suffering. By guiding it, you give it meaning. Disputes are inevitable in your life. Embrace order or face the chaos. You aren't chilly, you seem calm. No, you aren't far away. You're well known. You're not joking around. Your crown is being protected by you. Something lovely emerges from that stance as well. Either the dynamic improves or it disappears. Either way, there will be peace. You were always valuable, even when there was no background noise. To recall it, silence was necessary. A concise phrase for this phase. I spoke honestly. I maintained my integrity. It's okay with me if we can just connect. I refuse to compete. Staying silent does not mean giving up. I employ my quiet as a tactic. Open up the area. The truth must come to light. The mirror can accomplish its job. And if she appreciates you being there, she will greet you with the same. If she doesn't, you've learned something invaluable from her before the price tag became too high. In any case, you're still whole. In any case, you stand up. In summary, there you have it. Retaliation is not the point. It's not about trying to impress someone who doesn't value you. It's all about finding solace in solitude. The guy in the mirror will continue to plead, pursue, and break for no one until he stops. Your affection for her was tremendous. She got everything from you, and still, she continued to depart. You are not weak because of that. As a result, you are indeed human. 9, but remaining fractured. It's up to you. As for today, it was a self-selection. When this hits you hard, if you thought I was relating your tale to you, so it's clear that this video wasn't happenstance. The universe wanted you to know that the healing process has begun. Therefore, continue. If you're prepared to embody your most powerful, composed, and unwavering self, then hit subscribe. Make sure you're getting our weekly dose of Stoic wisdom and hard lessons for modern guys by turning on alerts. Please inform me in the comments section below. When did you finally snap? I was ready to rise the instant you declared, I'm done chasing. If you share it, you could benefit someone you've never met. At this very moment, your tale is needed by someone. It is the season for your return. Plus, I assure you, your transformation into a man will go unnoticed by her. That being said, I appreciate you tuning in. Until we meet again, keep calm, keep quiet, and keep your cool.